While browsing the National Archives, I came across a typewritten recipe card titled Recipe for Mrs. George Washington's Crab Soup. The recipe was found in First Lady Bess W. Truman's papers. It was something she personally enjoyed and most likely served in the White House. When searching the internet, there seemed to be many variations of the same recipe. Although Mount Vernon's restaurant recipe isn't even close to the recipe I found in Mrs. Truman's papers. It turns out this crab soup recipe is famously attributed to Martha Washington, though it likely evolved over time and was not a specific recipe she herself wrote down in a cookbook. The recipe gained popularity in the 20th century as a White House favorite, particularly during Franklin D. Roosevelt and Eisenhower administrations. So let's take a look at this famous White House recipe and see if we can find its origins. Keep in mind, all the recipes we go through today can be found on our website, moderndayfoodie.com. And we'll also put a link to each recipe in the description of this video. The recipe for Martha Washington's crab soup does not appear in her personal cookbook called Martha Washington's Book of Cookery. Her book contained a general recipe called To Dress a Crab, which is more of a stew than a modern soup. Martha Washington didn't physically cook meals herself. Instead, she was a skilled culinary manager who directed enslaved cooks, planned meals using her inherited recipe books and contemporary cookbooks, oversaw the kitchen operations, and experimented with ingredients, taking pride in her household's sophisticated cuisine. She managed the food preparation, from selecting ingredients to creating detailed menus to lavish meals. But enslaved people actually did the cooking and baking, often reading her handwritten recipes. The famous simple creamy crab soup recipe, as it's known today, probably became associated with her later as a classic first family dish. Crabs were considered a luxury for the colonists, so such a dish would have been an elegant offering for guests at Mount Vernon. So let's look at Bess Truman's recipe card. She calls for 1 quart milk, 8 hard-shell crabs, which is quite a few crabs. I mean, that would get really expensive. 2 hard-boiled eggs, grated peel of 1 lemon, so that's basically lemon zest. Then they call for 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 tablespoon of flour. So that's probably to make a roux, which you cook for about a minute usually, and then you start adding the liquid, the milk and the cream probably after that. So it's it's the way you thicken it without making a lot of lumps. And then they call for 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, which is very normal in a shrimp or crab soup, 3/4 of a cup of sherry, which is also normal for shellfish type soups, and a 1/2 cup of cream, salt and pepper. So basically you pick out the meat of the crab, which has been boiled 1/2 hour. So I normally, when I'm making soup like this, I use the water that I use to boil the crab or the lobster, whatever type of soup I'm making, because of the flavor that you get from it. But they don't call for any water in this soup, but I would set it aside after you boil boil it. So if your soup doesn't have a lot of crab flavor, you can add that water to it. You'll just have to thicken it up a little bit more. Mash the hard-boiled eggs to a paste with fork and add them to the butter. So they're basically adding this to the roux I was talking about with the butter and the flour, and then they're grating in the lemon peel. So this would act as like a thickening agent. I've actually never used hard-boiled eggs to do this, and I'm very curious on the taste and how it would turn out. So I'm excited to make this soup in the future. And then you add a little pepper. Bring the milk to a boil and pour it gradually onto the well-mixed paste of egg. Put over a low fire and add crab meat and allow to simmer for 5 minutes. Add the cream and bring to a boiling point. Again, then add sherry, salt, Worcestershire sauce. Heat significantly to serve. But do not boil after the sherry has been added. And so the reason they say that is that alcohol will boil off, and they don't want you to lose that flavor of the sherry. I always kind of boil it off, especially when I'm cooking for youngsters, because I want the alcohol to boil off. But I usually still have the flavor. If picking the meat out of the crab is too much of an undertaking, the picked out meat sold in stores may be used. Half a pound of this would be enough. Serves 4 to 6. So as far as buying it in the store, you can actually get it canned. And since they're not using the water from boiling the crab, I would just get the canned myself. I always use canned crab all the time. It's spendy, but it's actually pretty good and works really well. Because a whole crab nowadays, getting like a Dungeness crab can be very expensive, especially when they're calling for 8. And it's, they're saying that a half a pound would be enough. In my mind, that just seems like 8 crabs compared to a half a pound doesn't seem to equal, but I will take Best Truman's word for it. I also found the recipe for Mrs. Washington's crab soup in Recipes from the Old South, Martha L. Mead's 1961 cookbook. She even mentions it in her flap here, saying that it's included in the book. If we page to soups on page 37, so it looks like she uses a lot less sherry than what is in the archives, which calls for 3/4 of a cup of sherry, which is actually a lot of sherry. But sherry is one of the key ingredients in a crab or a shrimp bisque. So the recipe is noted for its simplicity and use of rich ingredients like cream and sherry. It has been featured in various cookbooks, including the First Lady's Cookbook and Cokie Roberts' Founding Mothers. I'll put a link down to those books in the description of this video. There's been modern changes to the recipes over the years, adding ingredients like lemon juice or cayenne pepper or onions to suit the contemporary palate, as the original is considered quite simple by today's standard. There's even a version by Mrs. Roosevelt, Mrs. Franklin D. Roosevelt, using A1 sauce. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of our series, Eating Like a President. And make sure that you subscribe or give us a thumbs up and a hype, and also comment on the video so you can make sure that you catch every forgotten cookbook we go through. We invite you to watch all our vintage recipe videos, from our Eating Like a President series to browsing vintage cookbooks.